A Wisconsin man is being charged with 5 counts of first-degree intentional homicide after police say he barreled his car into a Christmas parade. The Waukesha police chief said Darrell Brooks killed at least 5 people in the Milwaukee suburb when he plowed through parade barriers Sunday. The victims ranged in age from 52 to 81. Authorities say Brooks drove into the parade just after leaving the scene of a domestic disturbance, but he was not fleeing police at that time. The chief of police read the names of the victims and addressed the suspect at a press conference Monday afternoon.
And I say this with great sorrow. Virginia Sorensen, 79-year-old female. Leanna Owens, 71-year-old female. Tamara Durand, 52-year-old female. Jane Kulich, 52-year-old female. Wilhelm Hospital, 81-year-old male. We can tell you that investigations do not indicate that there's any type of domestic or national type of terrorism. We can tell you that there was some type of disturbance that we suspect was between the suspect and another individuals at a different location just prior to the incident. Shortly after this tragedy occurred, officers immediately identified the suspect vehicle, and shortly after that, they apprehended the suspect. The suspect had no injuries.
For more on this, I want to bring in CBS News senior investigative correspondent Catherine Herridge. Hi there, Catherine. So what other details did we learn during the news conference about those killed at the parade?
Well, what we learned, Elaine, at the news conference is that 48 people have been seriously injured. And to put that in context, that's twice the number than the original reporting late last night. And of that, we also understand that there are several pediatric cases, and many of those are in critical condition. And I want to emphasize, it could have been so much worse in the sense that the attack took place just a few blocks from one of the largest medical facilities in that city, so they were able to get them immediate assistance, Elaine.
Yeah, the fire department played a major role in evacuating the injured from the parade. Here's what the fire chief had to say about the scene. Let's listen to some of that.
It was just, I guess for lack of better, just carnage, likening it to a war zone. There were adults, children that were injured. Some of our first responders were there with our families. They left their families to treat people, helped with incident command, helped transport, along with many other medical personnel and people that were there. But I guess what stands out in my mind from our conversations is we do have people who have military backgrounds and likened it to a war zone.
Catherine, what else have we learned about those who stepped up to help last night?
Well, Elaine, I think one of the things that's so palatable, or at least feels like it in that news conference, is just how deeply affected people were on a personal level. And what we learned at that news conference is that there were first responders there on their off time, as well as medical staff. And when the attack happened, they leapt to the need of those who were injured. And I can tell you from my experience working overseas, especially in Northern Ireland, that these sorts of events have a tremendous ripple effect. In this case, we heard stories of people with the fire department, police officers, even your average citizen taking the injured and loading them into their vehicles to take them to the hospital. This is something that can never be erased and can often have a real generational impact given the ages of those who were injured and, of course, those who were killed as well, Elaine.
It's just heartbreaking. Well, Catherine, what is the latest information on the suspect? And do we know if the suspect was alone in that red SUV?
Well, we have a lot more information about this individual, Darrell Brooks. What we know through our reporting here at CBS News is that he has a 20-year criminal record. Gun charges, a strangulation, obstruction of a police officer, also jumping bail. So this is someone who I think we can adequately characterize as a career criminal. What we heard at the news conference is that there was some kind of domestic disturbance just minutes before the alleged attack by Brooks. And it happened so quickly that the police chief told reporters that once the call came in of a domestic incident involving a knife, they were not even able to get to that site to verify that a knife was involved and exactly what happened, because almost immediately there was the attack on the parade, and so all of the police resources went over to the parade to help for obvious reasons. But this is someone who is known to law enforcement, and I believe that's one of the reasons they were able to so quickly assess that he was acting on his own and that there wasn't a broader conspiracy in this case.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. I mean, how are officials approaching this case?
Well, in the post 9/11 world, almost everyone starts with the idea of terrorism and then they work backwards from that. And that's why we heard the police chief say that they had ruled out domestic terrorism and then also international terrorism. So that would be an individual who was connected to Al-Qaeda or ISIS. They saw no evidence of that. They also were able to identify the suspect and the vehicle really within hours or less of the attack. So that also helped them come to the conclusion that the individual they believe was acting alone. They can start to go through their digital footprint, if you will. They sometimes call it the digital exhaust. So this is their social media, their phone records, text messages. But really, we had a very compressed series of events between the domestic disturbance, minutes later the attack, and then also the identification of the suspect. So actually, the police work really came into focus very quickly in this case.
All right, Catherine, while we have you, I want to quickly turn to another topic. You and the CBS News investigative unit reported on 30 soldiers denied the Purple Heart after Iran struck their air base in Iraq with ballistic missiles in 2020. What is the update on this?
Well, Elaine, the Army has now initiated a new review after the CBS News reporting, and I'm pleased to relate to you that now they are considering the Purple Heart for 50 service members who were at that base. So it's another 20 from the 30 we originally told you about. 20 more individuals have come forward who they believe their injuries meet the qualification that it was the result of a hostile force and that it's a traumatic brain injury that has lasting effects on their brain function. And the good news here, too, is that the Army has committed to us that it will be done on an expedited basis, which has been tremendous for these soldiers who've been waiting 2 years for this recognition.
Just another example of the reporting you and others at CBS News have done that really is making such a difference. Catherine Herridge, always great to have you, Catherine.
Team
Thank you
effort,
very
for
much.
sure.
Thanks, Catherine.